Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Hi, everybody. This is an archived edition of Talking Real Money. That means it's from several years ago. So the offers, the particulars are often quite dated and are probably not valid anymore. So remember that when you listen. And thanks so much for listening to Talking Real Money.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Okay, can you guys just hold off on the show for a few minutes so I can finish?
We got it hold.
I just want to finish this chapter of the book. I can't put this book down.
I know what book we're talking about.
I'm trying to put it down, but I can't. Well, all right. Technically, it's not a book; it's a phone.
Yes.
But there's a book on it. Wow. Tom suggested I read this book.
And usually when I suggest something, you poo-poo it. You say, oh, God.
I do.
World
because
War II
usually
history.
It's another World War II history book.
We know how that came out, okay?
And,
it worked out all right.
There was this guy named Hitler.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Boom. Yeah. So normally, yes, and I do read a lot of World War. I read a lot of biography, but I read this review in the Wall Street Journal a couple of months ago, I want to say, and it's a page turner. You got to say it, really, especially if you're in the industry. So it's a little on the inside. No, you don't think so? All right.
No, I'm telling you, if you read this book, and I'm going to tell you more about it in a minute. If you read this book, you will know why I tend to be
you can say it.
Strident.
You can say the C word. It's okay.
Cynical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? But you're the guy who said all along, those hedge funds.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they're cheating.
Most of them,
they're cheating.
Probably all of them.
You read this book, and it literally is basically everybody that they talk about is insider trading or somebody whispering something to somebody else. And, of course, the guys at the top, I love that, too. They figure out how to insulate themselves so they don't get in the big trouble. But other guys go to prison for like 8 years. Wow. I moved ahead to see how some people ended up, and it didn't end up well.
No, I like my movies and my books to build toward the inevitable climax. But the book is called Black Edge.
Yeah.
And it's the story of a guy who for many years toiled in obscurity, making $1 billion or more, and only came into the news when some of his people started going to jail for insider trading. A gentleman by the name of Stephen Cohen, who ran a hedge fund called SAC Capital.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen, and you know what's funny is I'm just reading this book, but last year on Showtime, I started watching the series Billions.
I think is that Showtime or HBO? Anyway,
Showtime.
Okay,
yeah,
it's on again. Showtime. I just started the new episode.
I haven't started the new season, but my gosh, Billions is loosely based on the life of Stephen Cohen.
More than loosely based. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
My point in mentioning the book,
you're praising me for finally giving you something good.
But that really wasn't the main reason.
It made my day.
Mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
The main reason I mentioned this is because it is stories like this, and this is a true story, very well researched, by the way. It's stories like this that should show you, as an individual investor, that what you appear to want when it comes to investing, you cannot have. You want there to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you want there to be someone who can tell you which stocks are going to go up and which stocks are going to go down in the future. And books like this show you that the only people who ever know that in advance are those who are cheating.
I'll take it one step further. You not only want that, that's what you expect. That's what you think investing is. When we're trying to tell you that, no, really investing is, because my studio guest asked me about this earlier today, what is investing? Investing really is saving first. You got to not spend everything, and then you got to invest it, put it in something that grows.
And as I'm watching your guest in the studio, you also have to listen to your elders when they're giving you great advice on the radio.
She just took her headphones off. That was quick. Yeah, she's texting somebody. So sorry.
So if you need to seek out good advice on your investing because it's the fund for your future. And so that's why we encourage you every week to give us a call at 877-397-5666. That's 877-397-5666. Here's one of the questions. What do you want from your investments? Maybe we can help you find it.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Here's another brief interruption. I am surprised at how much people still love their magazines, their print magazines. The vast majority of the most popular magazines on the planet have millions of print subscribers and only a few 100,000 online subscribers. I learned people like reading on paper, and because of that, I've decided to create a brand new magazine for real investors to help you become a real investor. It's called Real Investing Journal, and it's full of just that, real investing information, the science of investing, the proven ways to make money long-term without gambling. There's no business news. There's nothing about speculating. There's no lifestyle stuff. It is all about investing all the time. It's a full color magazine. It's printed every quarter, and it's going to cost $25 a year is all. That's all, $25 a year. But here's the deal. If you become one of our charter subscribers, we'll lock in $15 a year, and while supplies last, you'll get the very first issue in addition to your next year. That's a deal. $15 a year, and if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That simple. So go right now to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You need to add that /subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and sign up for the charter subscription rate of only $15. You save $10 and you lock it in, and you get an extra issue. And you need to do it now because I know we're going to run out of the extra issues, so you better hurry. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You'll like it or your money back. And speaking of back, we're going back to the show now.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
I'm guide 1. You're guide 2 today. Is that okay? Does that work for you?
That works. Yeah.
All right. We are your guides to a better future because a better future requires money. I'm thinking probably quite a bit of it. Because if you think you're going to live on Social Security, you really need to rethink that strategy. To help you become a better investor, you need to figure out how to get the advice you need. Because, Tom, people need advice. Doing it on your own doesn't work very well.
Well, the numbers certainly indicate that, right? I mean, you and I look at all of that might surprise some people. There's actually firms that keep track of how all of us do if you invest in mutual funds. They see the money go in, they see the money go out. They can actually see how much you make or don't make. And the numbers, frankly, are shocking.
In fact, Morningstar does this now with every mutual fund out there. It's a thing called the investor return. And for example, was looking at the Vanguard Total Market Index Fund. Now, you would think that was a fund where the average investor would be really, really smart and do as well as the fund itself.
Well, let's stop you right there very quickly because this is where it might get complicated.
Yeah,
what we're trying, well, because most people see these ads, for example. You know, our fund made 11% a year for the last 15 years.
Let's use something that would advertise. Let's use like a broker sold fund. Let's use something like Oppenheimer.
Yeah, right. They run these ads, and they say, had you invested in our fund 15 years ago, you would have made 11.5% a year, which sounds great, really does. Sadly, as Morningstar will tell you, or there's another firm called Dalbar Research that has the similar type of information. They will show you that almost nobody makes those returns. And in fact, you, being the investing public, oftentimes make far less than the fund. That's what Don's trying to describe here, I believe.
Yeah, and I want to use one that would probably advertise its great returns. A fund like Oppenheimer funds. They advertise in a lot of the major magazines and the like. And I just want to find one of their. I think that I'm looking for Oppenheimer.
He's doing this on the fly.
Here. I am. I'm doing this on the fly. Let's use Oppenheimer Capital Appreciation.
Okay.
One of their funds that's had a decent track record, over the last 10 years, about 10% per year. Mm-hmm. That's the fund itself.
That is if you just put the money in, left it there.
Yeah, no,
that's the actual return of the fund.
Yeah. And, I was trying to find the fund. I just had it, and it slipped away here. My computer just froze.
But your career?
That's where it's going right now. But
sorry.
And I'm not finding it. But the returns on these, I'll pull it up a little bit later as soon as my connection just went down.
Oh.
Or Morningstar's having a problem pulling up the numbers. But these returns can be half or less of the actual return of the fund. And the point I wanted to get to was the whole idea of advice. Why? When you have a stockbroker, for example, selling you a fund from Oppenheimer, are the investors doing so badly with this advice? And the reason is the advice is not designed to make you more money. It's designed to make them more money.
Or, and let's put a little of this on ourselves. You get sold a fund. Right. It doesn't perform, at least what you believe it should perform, right? I see this all the time. People call me every day and say, hey, my portfolio hasn't made any money in X. But if you call me and say that doesn't mean much to me. But and so what happens when you call your broker and say that, Don? If I call you and say, hey, you put me in this fund 4 years ago and hasn't made any money. What is the broker?
Well, we got another fund. We got another fund. I got a better fund than that.
Actually, my favorite one is, you want to be in the program that makes money. Okay, we'll fix that. So, no, that's a joke. But so then, because they like to take the path generally of least resistance, they say, we'll sell that Oppenheimer fund, and I got a great American funds fund that we'll put you into, right? So you sell something that hasn't done as well as you would have wanted. You buy something else, but when you do that, you're market timing your way out of returns, and oftentimes you're selling low and buying high. That's the issue.
And now I found I got I got it to work here. All right, I'm good. Let's be even more. Let's look at Fidelity. Fidelity, where people do it themselves. You go to Fidelity, you do it. Let's not even be mean to brokers. Let's say you're a DIY investor and you went to Fidelity and you said, I want to be in emerging markets over the last, we're going to use 15 years. So you have a great comparison, a lot of time. The average annual return over the past 15 years for the Fidelity Emerging Markets Fund, a very good fund, by the way, one of the very, very best of its kind, was almost 7% per year.
Okay. 7% if you just bought and held the fund.
And held the fund the whole time. Yep. You didn't do it. You didn't go, I think I should get out now because emerging markets are down. I think I should get back in because emerging markets are up, which is what people do.
Yep.
Because people do that, the average investor return, the return that the average investor received over that 15 years was not 7% per year, but 2.3%.
And emerging markets, by nature, because of what you just mentioned, these are risky economies. These are crummy countries that are trying to put it all together and make it work. They have wild swings up and down. And this generally, the investor behavior is even worse in that particular asset class. So that's dramatic. 7, if you bought and held 7, and
if you were like most people, 2. A little over 2%.
And there's only a few fund families that we know where that number is reversed. One of which we know well.
Yeah, that's DFA, dimensional funds. But the point is the fact that you need help. That every single person listening to this is likely to need some degree of help. And here's the big question. And I know this is a question that you need to ask. Where do you get that help? And one of the places you can get some preliminary help without getting pitched product is by calling this program. The number is 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. If you have a 401k that you're not sure is invested properly, I just read an article this morning in the New York Times by Ron Lieber. He's been writing a whole series on 403b plans. I'm so angry at the whole industry of 403b plans that I actually just want to devote my entire life to helping people solve their stupid 403b plans. So, if you have a 403b plan, you want some help figuring this out, call us now at 877-397-5666. Call's free. I'm Don. That's Tom. He's got some little person in the studio with him. I don't know, young lady there. Is she going to be on the show later?
I doubt it. She's kind of shy, so...
Oh, all right. Well, I thought maybe she could ask some investing questions. We'll be back.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yes, it's time for another one of those inevitable interruptions that go with this being a podcast from a live radio show on commercial radio. This one is about something you're going to really enjoy, though, and something from which you could derive a lot of benefit, and that is the fact that we are now bringing our live lunch ed classes to the internet so that you, along with the folks at our offices in Seattle and Phoenix and Portland, can actually attend the event. You just won't get lunch. You're going to have to go get your own. But you'll still get the same great education, and you get a free worksheet, and you get some other perks that go along with the class. Tickets are only $5. That's it, just $5, and you can get them right now at TalkingRealMoney.com. TalkingRealMoney.com. I guarantee that you're going to get a great education, and if you don't feel you did, let me know. I'll give you your money back. It's really just that easy. So sign up for one of our upcoming lunch ed classes today. Don't put it off because somebody might take your seat. Go to TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the events section of the site, and I hope you'll attend one of the upcoming classes. And now, please continue listening to our program.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
877-397-5666 is our phone number, 877-397-5666. Apparently, I don't think she's as shy as she appears because I keep seeing her lean toward that microphone.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom, it's Bring Your Daughter to Your Radio Show Day.
Yeah.
It's actually a national holiday. If you have a radio show, it's Bring Your Daughter to Your Radio Show Day.
She is so kind because she could either go to her friends today to play or come with me. And because she's 9 and she still thinks this is cool, she came with me. That's
I tell
nice.
you, when my kids were little, they actually thought that this was a cool job.
I know.
When they got older, they went,
I didn't even know you had a show anymore. You got a podcast?
Exactly. Are you still on the radio, Dad?
Oh, wow. So, anyways, very kind of her to come. So, yes, her name is Aria, and we're glad she's here.
We are glad you're here, Aria.
And so she has some very pertinent, I'm kidding, investing questions. She doesn't even have a Roth IRA yet. She's got to get out there and earn some income.
Well, Dad,
so
the only person she can legally work for is you.
I think she could work for her mom.
Or she could cook pizzas.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
No, I think she worked at the state fair last year selling lemonade.
What you guys need to do is give her some W-2 income.
Yeah.
Need to give her some W-2 income, and even at her young age.
I forget, is there a minimum age for a Roth IRA?
No. Not as long as she has earned income.
All right.
And because the state laws in most states don't allow children her age to go out and get a regular job, but they are allowed to work for their parents.
Oh.
And collect a paycheck.
So we can abuse her, but nobody else can, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Parents
I love
are
the
allowed.
Way that sounds. That is really
And Aria,
great.
let me just say that again. Parents are allowed to make their children work.
I love the way that
There
sounds.
is no law protecting you.
Bad news.
There are
goes
no
on
child
and on.
labor laws, so you are the person totally in charge now of all those pizzas.
Wow. Well,
at
we better
Pompeii
drop her off.
Wood-fired pizza.
They're out
There you go,
cooking
Dee.
today.
Got a plug in for you.
Yeah, free plug. So, but back to where the conversation started, because getting help, and but I don't feel bad because I get help in a lot of things too, by the way. As you know, I just last year entirely rewrote my estate plan. Sorry, Don, you're no longer in it. This year I started a brand new fitness program that I do every morning. So I get help from a lot of it, and you may need help with the money part. That's what the message we're trying to say. But people that don't want to call the show, a lot of people there, you're never going to do it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where do they go?
But they still need help.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So where do they go?
Well, I've thought long and hard about this because it really does depend on the level of wealth you have, because there are some types of advice that are just not cost effective for smaller investors. The cost would just be out of sight. And for like the very beginning investors, like when Ari is a little older and she's got a job and she wants to save $10 a week from her paycheck, you start somewhere like Acorns or something.
Yeah, and you could go online to Acorns. I believe it's just acorns.com, right?
Acorns.com. And by the way, we don't get anything.
No, I like that because it's automated. It's disciplined. Yep. It just simply... It's a rounding service. It simply takes the money right off the top of your checking account, puts it in there, invests it. And we had somebody complain about the cost. It's $12 a year. That's for a small amount.
Percentage. If you only put in $100 a year, that's expensive. But if you put in $1,000 a year, it's looking a little better. So put more in if you think that's expensive.
That's good. Spend more if it's too expensive. I got it. But that's a good place to start.
Well, it brings it down as a percentage of assets.
Okay, what about if you have a little more money? What if you're getting close to retirement? Then get the yellow pages out?
Again, we kind of dance around this on the show because we're investment advisors, and we never ever want to plug ourselves on the air. It's one of those things where people call and go, "So who's the best investment advisor?" And both Tom and I kind of look at each other and go, "Well, we're up there, but no, we don't want this to be a plug for us." But what we do, we so fervently believe is right and honest and backed by science that we think you ought to invest this way. So when we come back, we'll tell you one of the places you can go to find advice that we would believe in.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi, brief break time. I'm Don, and I really wanted to share this with you because this is something I'm really excited about. I have taken much of the work that we do for our online Real Investing Journal and put it into a quarterly magazine that is, I have to say, pretty good and pretty cheap. And it is the only publication I can find anywhere that is totally devoted to real investing. You will find no business news there. You will find no lifestyle information. You will find no hard news, political news, speculation stuff. It's all about the science and the process and the discipline of real investing, and it's a way to keep you on track toward a better future. It comes out 4 times a year, and it's going to cost most people $25 a year. That's all, just $25 a year. But because it's brand spanking new, a limited number of people can become charter subscribers at the lifetime price of $15 per year. Plus, I'll get you a copy of the very first issue as a bonus while the supplies last, of course. So here's all you need to do. Just go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and subscribe. And you'll start getting it in the mail every quarter. If you're one of the first 200 or so to subscribe, you'll also get the very first issue as a bonus. So be one of the first to get the very first magazine ever about investing and nothing but investing. Real Investing Journal, and you can subscribe right now, really easy, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. Now back to the show.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Welcome to some of the most important conversation and information about dealing with money, particularly investing, you're going to find anywhere, anytime. I did some looking, and my gosh, the shows that are on the radio, we were looking at some today, and almost every single one of these shows is pitching indexed annuities. Almost every single one of them. Now, I think there's a reason why they're doing it, and I don't think it's a reason that's good for you, but we'll talk about that more later, too. 877-397-5666 is our phone number here. That's 877-397-5666. And before we get to other stuff, let's get to Mark. Mark, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, thank you.
Thans for calling. What's up?
I've been interviewing several financial advisors looking for someone to kind of in a mood to switch from doing it myself to getting some professional advice. I know that the Vestry and another group I have a lot of respect for, Merriman Financial, use the Dimensional Fund Advisors, DFA. And someone else I interviewed recently uses an outfit called LPL Financial, and I wasn't familiar with them. I have done a little searching on the web, but I was just curious if you guys have any just general impressions of that LPL Financial.
LPL, I know them so well. Because back in the day, before I recovered as a stockbroker, back in the 80s, LPL was a little company called Linsco Private Ledger. And Linsco Private Ledger was the place that disgruntled stockbrokers who didn't like their payouts with their big firm would go to get a 90% payout on commissions. They'd set up their own little shops. And LPL acted as a broker dealer. They were the ones through whom you would clear your trades. LPL is just, today, it's still that. It's just a giant version of that. It's grown to massive proportions. LPL, quote, advisors are not always required to act as a fiduciary, to act in your best interest.
And that's where the dividing is, I think, if you really look at this industry, Mark, that you need, before you even interviewed anybody, you have to say, what kind of person do I want to trust? At the end of the day, you're going to have to decide, I believe these people or I don't. So we draw the line very clearly where Don says we would only recommend that you hire someone there's a legal requirement to always put your interests ahead of theirs or their firms. That'd be number one. Number two, then I think it comes down to the strategy. You mentioned Vestry, you mentioned Merriman. Our strategies, basically, although Merriman does have some active management, are basically a buy and hold, evidence-based investing. That is, we've looked at academic research for a very long period of time. Yes, we use dimensional funds because it's the best product we know that supports that belief. We invest it, we rebalance it, we don't pay attention to what Larry Kotlikoff says or anything else that comes along. That is simply noise. Your portfolio is built correctly. And then I guess the third part would be what people are going to charge you. If I was truly interested in LPL, I would want to know how much and how they're going to charge, because as Don said, it gets murkier when you get into the broker-dealer end. They may say, hey, we're a fiduciary, we're going to charge you a set fee every year, but oftentimes they veer and somehow end up selling you a different product.
And the key is that word always. There are a lot of these firms out there like LPL people who will say, I'm a fiduciary. Yeah, when are you a fiduciary? Are you a fiduciary 100% of the time? If you sell an insurance product, the answer is no. If you put me into a loaded mutual fund, the answer is no. If you're trading stocks, the answer is no. You see, they can be, it's called dual registration. And honestly, I think there should be I mean, it sounds tongue-in-cheek, but I think there should be some sort of a legal requirement that they wear a different hat when they're a fiduciary and when they're not, so that you as a client know the difference. But they don't delineate. 877-397-5666 is our phone number. We want to help you build a better future.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're one of the many podcast listeners who's asked, how do I attend one of your classes? Well, we've decided to take our very popular Lunch Ed classes that we've been doing at our offices and also do them in the form of a webinar online. At the same time, I'm doing the class live elsewhere. You can sign up for these live Lunch Ed classes right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. We have a limited number of seats available because we have to pay for them, so reserve your place right now. We're going to have classes in the future on a variety of topics, so check them out regularly at TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the event section. And there is a small fee for these classes, just $5, but you're going to get a great education, not a sales pitch, and a free worksheet and some other perks. So sign up for our next Lunch Ed class right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. And now, more Talking Real Money.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And we want to help you deal with your particular situation to figure out how to build the best possible portfolio for your future, to know, to understand who you need to talk to, the questions you need to ask, the things you need to look for. 877-397-5666 is our phone number, 877-397-5666. Before the break, Tom mentioned that we are big believers in the strategy, the concept that DFA, Dimensional Funds, espouses. It's a very, very similar group to Vanguard, except without any active management. They don't actively manage their funds. They don't, in other words, they don't try to pick what's going to be hot and what's not. They build these asset class portfolios that are small cap value or small cap growth or whatever they might be. And an interesting fact that just kind of goes to the heart of why we believe in them. In 2000, out of every single U.S. equity and fixed income fund that existed in the year 2000, according to S&P, 15 years later, a certain portion of those beat their benchmark. Now, you would think, just law of averages, it would be about 50%, right, Tom?
Somewhere
About
in that
50%.
area, yeah, sure.
The actual number for the entire industry, now this includes Vanguard and DFA, is 15%. 15% of all U.S. equity and income funds beat their benchmark over 15 years from 2000. Dimensional funds, Tom, you want to hazard a guess? How many of their funds
literally would
beat?
have no idea.
82%.
Wow. That's pretty strong.
82%.
Yeah, but I want to
And they don't actively manage.
Yeah, and I want to be careful on saying, well, okay, you just hire them and you get rich, because we don't. The reason that we use them is they're the best product that we know of that, as you said, espouses this philosophy that says really what you want to do is hold the right asset classes, the best you can, low cost, all that kind of thing. They simply do the best job of that today, yeah. But we don't know into the future whether or not they will continue that. That's
and
worthy
even
of
they
discussion.
would say that.
Exactly.
Even
so
they would say that.
That's not the reason you should hire an advisor anyway. An advisor should be somebody who builds the right strategy for you, keeps you on the straight and narrow, the discipline, all those things, and is paying attention enough to know that your life may need this change in it. That's why you hire a great advisor and is required to put your interest first, not necessarily the products they're using for you.
And because we so strongly believe that this is the right way to invest, because it's based on science, lots of research.
And before we go to the calls, I want to mention one person you shouldn't hire if they have this on their business card, because apparently a regulator found someone who did. CHSG. They had that, like Don McDonald, CHSG. That was their designation.
Wait a minute. Certified, highly skilled, great.
You're never going to get it. Certified. This is true. And when the regulator asked the person,
gerontologist, certified, highly skilled gerontologist.
When the regulator asked the person, "What does that stand for?" He said, "Oh, that's easy. That's certified high school graduate." And he said it with a straight face.
Well, that's pretty much everybody in the country.
Yeah, that's a lot. Not everybody, but
anyway, I wanted to give you the website to go to before we go to the phone.
Please do.
If you're looking for an advisor to vet, you want to just start. It's hard. You look out there and you go, there are thousands of them.
Yep.
Let me give you a way to get a smaller list. Go to DFAUS.com. DFAUS.com. That's Dimensional Fund Advisors United States. DFAUS.com. Over on the right side, there's a button there that says Find an Advisor, and they will give you the names of some people in your area. You put in your zip code, and they'll give you the names of some people in your area who use dimensional funds and who at least come close to espousing what we think is the right way to invest. That's not saying use us. Use some of those people.
Yep.
Check them out.
All right.
Right?
Yep.
All right. 877-397-5666 is our number. And Connie, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi there. I was wondering, can grandparents hire their grandkids in order to give them a W-2 and they can start their Roth IRA?
I see. We're gonna take the whole parent can hire a kid thing. Now you're really going to push us. You're going to really test us to see how well we know this law. And I'm going to say, I don't know. Don's trying to look into it right now. Because
right now.
I couldn't tell you that. We just know that you could as parents. That's a great question.
You know, I honestly, I really doubt it.
Yeah, I do too.
I really doubt it. But let me look. Wait, no, I actually found something on it.
He's using that thing he tells me every time when I can't figure something out. Try the internet. Yeah, okay. I hadn't thought of that. Thanks, Don.
It's really, really, yeah, see, children can do it. Yeah, it says grandchildren. This is from Entrepreneur Magazine.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm not, this is not gospel from me, but it says you can hire children or grandchildren, treating them either as subcontractors or employees, which means you can either give them a 1099 or a W-2, and then they can start putting away money into a Roth because that's earned income.
And you win the obscure question of the day, Connie, so well done so far.
Great.
It may get
he's
better.
1 year, 5 months old, so we need to get started.
Okay, now wait.
I got a little drooling on the grandpa.
Wait, yeah. I don't think that you can have an official...
skilled labor.
Just saying.
Yeah. Wait. He could be the company crier.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought of that.
Every company needs a crier.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, we got to run. Connie, great question. Company crier. Don't make me nominate somebody in our office, please.
5666. I don't know what that name is, so you made up a strange new name.
I have Joack. I don't know. We'll go with that. Do I have that right? Joack, is that you?
I don't think you got it right.
Hey,
somebody. Is there somebody else?
Somebody wants to talk to us about bonds. Joack, do I have that right? You there?
Jack?
Can hear him. Jack?
John?
I don't know. So
I hear them. There.
I know,
I just
they're
don't
breathing.
think we're calling them by the right name.
I in advance, I apologize. So, but we'll
try that again for the next hour.
They want to know whether
maybe.
bonds were safe.
Bonds?
Yeah.
Bonds. Some of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is always
That's another
the
one
issue.
of those things where bonds are a pretty broad universe.
Well, but that's the question.
Stuff.
And that's the kind of question you get. Should I buy bonds today? Because interest rates are going up, Don, and that means bonds are going to be riskier, right?
Wait, you know that for a fact?
That's the kind of question we get. By the way, we can move to another call if we want to.
Okay.
All right.
It's up to you.
All
You
right.
do whatever you want.
We're a little pressed on time, but
I'm flexible.
Let's go to Cherie instead. I hope I got this one right. Cherie, is that right?
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
All right. How can we help you?
I have a question. My son, I was in the military, so I'm 100% unemployable, which means he gets VA benefits for going to school. Okay, he's emancipated also, so he gets all the maximum on grants and even the Washington Scholarship Program. So I said, why don't you invest some of that money? Because he doesn't pay rent, he doesn't do anything except I said, your job is just to go to school. So I said, why don't you invest at least $100 just in the savings? But
wow.
I need to know.
I can already tell, Cherie, we're going to have you hang on, and we're going to start this just like it was all brand new, so everybody's with us in the next hour. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
I discovered something really interesting not too long ago. It's the fact that people still like getting printed magazines. I read most stuff online, but the vast majority of subscribers to almost every publication known to mankind subscribe to the print edition. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. So I've decided to correct my mistake, and I have created a brand new magazine, the only one that I know of that is totally devoted to real investing. It's called, aptly enough, Real Investing Journal. Real Investing Journal comes out every single quarter.
Real Investing Journal is not about speculating. It is not about business. It is not about lifestyles. It is not about politics or other news. It is strictly about the process of building wealth by becoming a real, disciplined, scientific-based investor. And it comes out every single quarter, and you have an opportunity to get it for a lot less money and to lock that price in as a charter subscriber. Annual subscriptions are going to run $25, but if you subscribe soon, you'll be one of the charter subscribers who not only gets it for $15 a year locked in, but you'll also get the very first issue of Real Investing Journal as a bonus while supplies last. So here's how you subscribe. It's really easy. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. And then what do? You subscribe. Then we'll start mailing it to you. And if you don't enjoy it, I'll give you money back. What do you have to lose? You got nothing to lose. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, become a charter subscriber to Real Investing Journal, and I guarantee you've never seen a publication quite like this because nobody that I can find focuses on the truth about investing, except, well, of course, now Real Investing Journal. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, and I know I said that a lot, but I want you to remember it. And now back to the show.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yeah, give us a call, 877-397-5666. Tom is going to be speaking at the upcoming retirement roundtable that's going to be in Bellevue in March. So get tickets for that at talkingrealmoney.com. Also, wanted to remind you, we still have great deals on subscriptions to the only real investing magazine in the world, Real Investing Journal, at realinvestingjournal.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?
Here's another brief interruption. I am surprised at how much people still love their magazines, their print magazines. The vast majority of the most popular magazines on the planet have millions of print subscribers and only a few 100,000 online subscribers. I learned people like reading on paper, and because of that, I've decided to create a brand new magazine for real investors to help you become a real investor. It's called Real Investing Journal, and it's full of just that, real investing information, the science of investing, the proven ways to make money long-term without gambling. There's no business news. There's nothing about speculating. There's no lifestyle stuff. It is all about investing all the time. It's a full color magazine. It's printed every quarter, and it's going to cost $25 a year is all. That's all, $25 a year. But here's the deal. If you become one of our charter subscribers, we'll lock in $15 a year, and while supplies last, you'll get the very first issue in addition to your next year. That's a deal. $15 a year, and if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That simple. So go right now to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You need to add that /subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and sign up for the charter subscription rate of only $15. You save $10 and you lock it in, and you get an extra issue. And you need to do it now because I know we're going to run out of the extra issues, so you better hurry. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You'll like it or your money back. And speaking of back, we're going back to the show now.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello again. I'm Don McDonald along with Tom Cock. This is the show where we try to help you understand how money works and how it's supposed to work for you, helping you find the best way to build your wealth so you can have this really, really great future, particularly a really great retirement. And to help you out, we've got a phone number that you can call us on. That's 877-397-5666. 877-397-5666. And we have rest of this hour to help you out. So give us a call. And we have a lot of people waiting from last hour, so we're just going to plunge right back into the queue. And we got Jack all sorted out now. His name's really Jack.
Yeah, well,
Jack, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Problem. Sorry, Jack. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Good. I'm glad to hear that you called me. My question is, I'm getting along pretty well on what income I have, but I have some money in bonds in an investment account. Now, I want to take that money out of there because I have to pay income tax on the proceeds and put that money into muni bonds. Is that a good idea?
Well, there are two questions you're asking. Number one, I don't understand why you have to sell something and create an income tax. I don't.
No. What he's saying is he's got bonds that have taxable income. He has taxable bonds.
Is that what you're saying?
He's thinking about selling his taxable bonds.
Okay, all right. Okay.
He's thinking about selling his taxable bonds and buying munis.
So you're moving money from a bond that is requiring you to pay tax on it,
right?
That are not municipal bonds, into municipal bonds for reasons of saving on your taxes. Do I have that right now?
Yes. That's correct.
And then your question is that a good idea? Are they safe, et cetera? That's what I'm taking away from this.
Correct.
Okay. Now we're on the same page. So, number one, and this you raise a very good point, but very few people think about, sadly, is the taxation of their investments. Most people simply don't pay attention. Oh, I got a bill, I got to pay the tax. So you're right. You should pay the least amount of taxes. If you have money in taxable accounts, as you just mentioned, municipal bonds are a very good option. However, yes,
you need to be in a bracket that makes it make sense, because muni bonds pay the exact same quality and duration of municipal bond, because of its tax-free nature, pays a smaller coupon to its investors. So how much taxable income do you have in a year, Jack?
Well, last on the bonds, $9,000 is what I had to pay.
No, how much is your total taxable income in the course of a year?
Roughly.
Well, I really don't know. I know that I had to pay this on $9,000, but then I have...
It was $9,000 in interest, is that correct?
Yes, interest and dividends.
Okay, because here's the issue that I run into this all the time talking to people. They hate paying taxes. And I don't blame them for hating paying taxes, but sometimes you cut off your nose to spite your tax. Because if you move into munis, munis are hard to buy unless you buy them through a mutual fund.
Which is what we recommend, by the way.
Yeah. You'll pay a fortune buying individual muni bonds. It's dangerous. You don't know what you're getting into. You're going to pay big commissions and spreads. If you go into a muni bond fund that is a safe, short-term, high-quality bond fund, the interest rate is going to be about 25% lower than it's going to be on a comparable taxable bond fund.
For the reasons that you just stated a moment ago, because people very easily price these things, they realize there's the tax involved. So yes, the right type of municipal bonds, but only if you're in the right tax situation.
And I got to tell you, without knowing more, just first impressions, the amount of income you're getting at $9,000, the fact that you say you're getting along okay, it doesn't sound to me like you're in a high tax bracket. So you may be one of those folks who's just like, I hate paying taxes. I want something on which I don't have to pay taxes, but you probably will end up making less money.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Our lunch ed classes that we've talked about occasionally during the show have been so popular that we're now expanding them to our offices in Portland and Phoenix, and we are going to start doing them online too. Well, you won't get the lunch if you do it online. you will get a great education, and you can go out and grab lunch and join us for Lunch Ed. Just sign up at TalkingRealMoney.com. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. There is a very small fee, just $5, but for that, you get a worksheet and you get access to some special offers, so it's worth it. Sign up now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com, and get a real investing education. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. Now back to the show.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And we invite you to talk about it with us at 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. Trying to understand how to build the portfolio properly, particulars of it, how much you're paying, where you can find the best advice, or almost anything else. 877-397-5666. During the break, I like to take advantage of my breaks.
Yes, you do.
I work right through those breaks. During that break, I wanted to get some actual numbers to try to compare Jack's $9,000 in taxable bond interest to its muni equivalent. So I looked at some Vanguard bond funds. Now, we believe excuse me, that your money should be in short intermediate bonds for a safe portfolio.
Be careful saying safe, for a less volatile portfolio.
Less volatile portfolio.
Okay.
And there's safety in numbers. When you have a Vanguard fund, you have a lot of bonds.
And by the way, the advice you gave on owning bonds is exactly right. We do not recommend you go buy individual bonds for all the reasons you mentioned. And you never see it. I love this industry. You never know really how much you're paying because they wrap it all in. It's just disgusting, frankly.
Total opacity.
Yeah.
Total opacity. But I ran the numbers, and a $9,000 a year taxable income from bonds, equivalent quality tax-free bonds, right now are yielding about $6,000 tax-free. So unless Jack is paying more than $3,000 in taxes on his $9,000 in income, whether he likes it or not, he's better off in the taxable bonds. Right?
Due to the difference in interest he's collecting.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this still, I want to just go one more step back, because what you mentioned there at the beginning was the other point I think people should pay attention to. That is so hard, and especially in the environment we're in today. Bonds really should be there to tamp down the volatility. Those should be the things that kind of go along and really they're not there to make you a lot of money, but they're there to protect you when stocks go down. And I know the last few weeks have gone straight up. I get it, but they will go down. I don't know when. Might start Monday. So people have this tendency to look at their portfolio.
Stocks will go down someday. Yeah.
People have this tendency to look at their portfolio and say, get rid of that stuff because it's not making anything. Move it over to that because it's making a lot.
Past tense it.
Right.
Please
Problem
past
with
tense
that.
everything.
So Jack's doing it for some of the right reasons around taxation. That makes sense. But don't look at your bonds and say they're not making any money. I'm going to put it all in stocks because stocks are going to the moon. And by the way, speaking of going to the moon, I got to mention it. I just have to. Because I think it was 2 weeks ago today, right?
I know you do. No, let's see. It was.
I think it was.
The date.
Or 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago today.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
So, we're fans, have been fans, I guess past tense as well, of Scott Burns, who wrote a wonderful column for over 20 years that was syndicated nationwide, including in the Seattle Times. Very common sense. Use index funds, all the stuff that we believe. He said it over and over and over again. Then he retired, and the next column by a guy named Lawrence Kotlikoff said, sell everything because the stock market's going straight down. You got to get your money out. It's going to go away.
He didn't just say sell it all. He said sell your stocks and your bonds.
Oh, I forgot the bond part. Pardon me.
Get out of everything. Put it in a mattress.
Yeah, okay. And that was 3 weeks ago, and
3 weeks ago.
Which is advice that we kind of blasted on the air.
We did.
Not because we knew stocks were going to go up.
I sent a note to Scott Burns.
That's right, you did. You tweeted something to Scott.
And Scott responded, and he says, I don't think Larry will ever do that again.
Because?
Well, I don't know why, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that if 3 weeks ago,
Yep.
you took the exact opposite advice from Professor Kotlikoff.
Took
and
all
you
your
bought-
cash and ran it right into the market.
You put $100,000 into the S&P 500 on that day.
The following Monday.
You'd be almost $3,500 richer in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It apparently
when
forgot
I read
to go
that,
down.
I literally could not believe that was occupying that same space that had been occupied by Scott Burns.
And here's the
Shocked
issue,
me.
folks. Here's the issue. I know you don't want to admit it, but you're looking for that kind of advice.
And everybody wants it. Just
You know
I want
you
the guru.
are.
Show me here's what's going to happen.
Okay, Tom, you go to a party. I go to a party. In fact, I'm going to one tomorrow night. Going to a charity party tomorrow night. I guarantee you, when I'll run into somebody who doesn't know you, I'll get introduced. Oh, Don, what do you do? Well, I'm a partner in an investment advisory firm, and I do a financial talk show.
What's the market going to do on Monday?
So what's the market going to do next week?
Always no. Yeah.
That is the question I always get. So I know that it's on the tip of every investor's tongue. Get it off your tongue.
Good
Clean
advice.
that tongue off. You know, when your dentist says brush your teeth and then brush your tongue,
Yeah.
brush your tongue. Get that off your tongue. It's a bad question. It's a horrible question. It implies one of two things. Well, it implies that you're emotional, that your emotions drive your decision-making process. It does, which is all the more reason why
Well, they
you
do.
need somebody. They do. Of
Yeah.
course they do. We're all emotional.
Yep. Right.
Why do you think Stephen Cohen of SAC Capital continues probably to this day to lie, cheat, and steal to make billions of dollars? What is driving him? His emotions.
Yeah,
Greed.
I was amazed to read that. If you read this book, you will. I'm part one. I'm amazed he
Again.
didn't go to prison. The book is Black Edge.
Black Edge
You
is
want
the
to
name
know
of the
how
book.
the
Recently
seamy
available.
underside of this business. You read that. But I'm amazed he didn't go to prison. And I got to say a little bit, actually, having read it all, how confusing the U.S. government works in this area between the SEC, between
and the FBI.
the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's
US
Office. Very
Attorney's
confusing.
Office.
I was amazed that he hasn't gone to prison, and I'm amazed that even though they made him, I think, hand off $1.2 billion or something as a fine,
Yep.
he's still worth $13 billion.
Yep.
Okay,
And they also made
here's $1
him
billion.
stop taking. They made him stop
Yeah.
taking other investors'
He just
money.
manages
and
his own money
He's just
now.
running a family office now of $13 billion
Quiet
that he
family.
made. Taking advantage. I was going to use another word, but we have little ears. Taking advantage of other people. And really, some of the stuff you read in there, the horrible things he did to other people with whom he worked.
Oh, yeah. His friends.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
was
matter.
all in the name of making money. And
Yeah.
Tom, here's what I have a hard time with. As much as I understand human nature, I'm not naive. I've been around the block a few times. What I don't get is, what is it with this industry? I know it's money and I know it's greed, but why aren't the Ameriprizes and the Edward Joneses and the LPLs and the AXA insurances and, the New York Lifes, why can't we all play in an honest playground, in an honest sandbox? Why don't people just start telling their customers the truth? Wouldn't that be a better place to do business?
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Our lunch ed classes that we've talked about occasionally during the show have been so popular that we're now expanding them to our offices in Portland and Phoenix, and we are going to start doing them online too. Well, you won't get the lunch if you do it online. You will get a great education, and you can go out and grab lunch and join us for Lunch Ed. Just sign up at TalkingRealMoney.com. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. There is a very small fee, just $5, but for that, you get a worksheet and you get access to some special offers, so it's worth it. Sign up now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com, and get a real investing education. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. Now back to the show.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom?
Yes?
Tom? Wait, I thought you got shorter for a minute.
I know. Well, I tell you, it's next generation talking real money. Aria kind enough to join us in the studio today, all of 9 years old, and does not, by the way. I'm feeling kind of bad that other kid's going to have a Roth IRA at 1.5 years old, and my 9-year-old doesn't have one yet. So we're going to fix that.
Oh, by the way, Aria, I need to add this really quickly. I did look up the rules with the IRS.
Oh.
The child actually must work. They must actually do something that would stand up to an IRS audit. They can audit you on that. And if you just said, "Oh yeah, they laid around and cried," or swept
well,
the
you're
floor,
the company crier,
you're not going to get away with that. So Aria, you will actually have to work for a living.
And what did you do? You actually did work for your mother last summer. What did you do last summer for her?
I did the lemonade and passed the lemonade out.
Yeah, she did. She worked at the state fair. So there you go.
Cool. Well, and you should have paid her for our client event that we did.
That's true. She was there that day.
She acted as the greeter and got people their name tags.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
You should pay her for that.
Yeah, all right. There you go.
So apparently, Aria, your dad has been taking advantage of you, and I know a good
here we go.
employment attorney. I can recommend a couple of names if you want to call somebody up to file a little action.
She's 9.
Against them.
She still loves her dad.
You
Get
still
over
love
it.
your dad? You'll get over it.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
877-397-5666 is our phone number. 877-397-5666. I have some big news, Tom.
Please.
This is kind of interesting. I just looked this up. There was an article in this weekend's New York Times by Ron Lieber about how horrible 403B plans are. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And the fact that most of these firms won't even tell the New York Times what they charge. They won't do it. So I tend to comment on this stuff. I always do.
Oh,
and
you went online to the article and commented.
Yeah, this morning I commented on the online version here. Yeah. And the New York Times picks those comments that it thinks are the best. And they picked my comments.
Nice. Which was,
listen to this. This is the biggest issue with most retirement plans is the, quote, Wild West nature of the system. Most of the financial industry knows that obfuscation and opacity are their biggest allies. Transparency and clarity should be required in all financial relationships, yet much of Congress and the current administration believe that consumers are actually better served in the current system in which the odds are in the salespeople's favor. Even without a global fiduciary standard, which, by the way, has been delayed, all advice and product providers should be required to disclose all fees, commissions, and surrender charges in a cover sheet, not buried. And then I went on from there.
I think you're right on it. And by the way, if you take a gander, who runs most of the 403B plans? What kind of company?
Insurance company.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I said that annuities should be banned.
It would be great.
From 403Bs.
It'd be great.
They should be totally banned. By the way, folks, if you got an annuity in your 403B, call me and I'll tell you why those nice insurance agents are taking advantage.
Hey, say that again. I like that.
Those nice insurance agents. They're so nice. They came by the house and they explained everything.
Except they didn't. In fact, there was one comment in the New York Times comments where a woman said, "Oh, my AXA agent was wonderful. He came by and told me there's no fee."
No, you don't. Well, you never pay it.
Ron Lieber goes, "What?
Yeah.
How does he get paid then?"
The company pays them because the company's nice people.
Oh, these things bother me so much. And I suggested, by the way, my suggestion at the end of the thing, and I do believe this is the system that every school district in America should adopt. And listen to me, Seattle Public Schools and others in the area. You should hire a couple of carefully vetted, fee-only, passive investment advisors with low fees pre-negotiated, who only offer no-load, low-fee funds, along with who promise to also provide an honest investing education that actually takes into account a client's tolerance and need for risk. That's the way the system should be built, and it isn't. And the teachers' union's just as guilty.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Let me just take a second to share something new with you. We're going to start doing our lunch ed classes that we do at our offices in Phoenix and Portland and Seattle. We're going to start doing them online as a webinar at the same time. So you can attend too. You just won't get lunch. You'll have to go get lunch. But it's also cheaper. It's only $5 a ticket, and you get a full-color worksheet and some special perks. So sign up for our upcoming Lunch Ed classes right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the events section. And you will get a real investing education on a variety of topics. So go to TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
I know sometimes I seem like I get a little upset about this stuff, but it's only because I hate to see what happens when you guys get ripped off. I do. 877-397-5666 is our phone number, 877-397-5666. I'm Don McDonald, along with Tom Cock and his little cohort, Aria, over there.
She, by the way, she was working on her Roth IRA trading strategy. I talked to her about
day trading in a Roth?
Yeah, I had talked to her about maybe Vanguard. No, she's got some way to pick stocks that beats the market. Not a problem, she says.
It's because she was listening to us talk about Stephen Cohen. And
that must have been it.
He started out as a day trader with Grundle.
Yeah, I know.
Grundle.
A little bucket shop if there ever was one.
877-397-5666. You want some help with your portfolio? You're a day trader? Oh, please stop it. Give us a call.
No, call us.
Yeah, we'll save you. We'll save you. Debbie, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi.
Hi, Debbie.
I was calling in regards to the grandmother that called earlier about the kids, and you're saying that you could be audited for whether the kids are working or not. Why can't they be professional models and you pay them for the photographs you take of them? They don't even
You could. You just have to show an economic benefit to their work. You have to show that it actually somehow benefited the company. So if you could take pictures of your kids and you got a catalog, you could use them and say, my child's a model. But you have to make sure that you're paying them fairly as at the scale of other similar models. So, yes.
I don't think that you could just take pictures of your kid and put money into an IRA for them?
No.
No, they have to actually, and we jokingly said, for example, Aria could have been the shredder at the office. Of course, we don't shred anymore now, so that eliminated that opportunity. No, they actually have to be performing a task of some kind that has value to it.
For the business.
That's what Don is trying to tell you. Correct.
Well, what if I don't have a business? I just have kids I want to have an IRA for.
You can't.
Sorry about that.
You can't. The IRS would never allow that.
So doing chores or,
No.
it's pretty good enough, huh?
No.
Well, it's good enough, but it cannot create an income for it.
Let's say you had some little home business, that you were making gadgets or something and gizmos, and you had a website and you were selling them online. Then you could probably sneak in the pictures of the kids.
Yeah.
Then, again, not a tax attorney, not getting into giving tax advice, but I'm telling you, the IRS requires that there be a business, one, and some economic benefit to the business, too. So
it's a great question. Let's move on to the next one. Yep.
Just can't have them do chores. CJ, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've often heard you talk about this business about annuities.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have an annuity with TIAA-CREF.
Oh. They're the good ones.
And
they're the good ones.
Thank you.
Of all the companies out there that sell annuity products, TIAA-CREF is among the very few honorable, low-cost
what
businesses.
kind of an annuity do you have with CREF?
It's probably a variable.
Well, yeah, it started out as a what is that number?
403B?
403B.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started out as a 403B, and then as I got ready for retirement, we moved it into an annuity.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't been. It hasn't been that bad. I will say that.
No, their fees are low. TIAA's fees are low. They're fair. The only issue I have at TIAA-CREF is two organizations that merged. And if you get their mutual funds in a 403B without the annuity wrapper, you pay less money. It's better for you. And you can do that. but people get them with that annuity wrapper. That annuity wrapper adds a layer of fees. They're not high in Tia's case.
I think they're no load too, right?
Right, they're no load
No
and they're
commissions.
low fee.
Oh.
But there's still an extra fee. And this is kind of getting into the weeds a little bit. It's probably important to discuss. The reason a variable annuity has any value in an investment vehicle, in an investment account, is because they are tax deferred. The reason they are tax deferred is because of an insurance rider, a life insurance rider, for which you pay extra money. You don't need a tax-deferred account inside of a tax-deferred vehicle like an IRA or a 403b, so it's kind of silly. But if you're going to have one, Tia Krepp's among the best.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're one of the many podcast listeners who's asked, how do I attend one of your classes? Well, we've decided to take our very popular Lunch Ed classes that we've been doing at our offices and also do them in the form of a webinar online. At the same time, I'm doing the class live elsewhere. You can sign up for these live Lunch Ed classes right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. We have a limited number of seats available because we have to pay for them, so reserve your place right now. We're going to have classes in the future on a variety of topics, so check them out regularly at TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the events section. And there is a small fee for these classes, just $5, but you're going to get a great education, not a sales pitch, and a free worksheet and some other perks. So sign up for our next Lunch Ed class right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. And now, more Talking Real Money.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
We got this phone number that you can use to get some help with your money, 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666.
I'd like to mention one more thing on the annuity topic because here's my little bit of concern about annuities in general. Is the reason that you want to own an annuity. I think, here's what I take. My take is people want to put money in an annuity because they feel like it's guaranteed not to go down, and I get some part of the market, et cetera, index annuity, right? Mm-hmm. No, an annuity, the whole idea behind an annuity is income replacement.
Well, no. See,
that's but that's why you would own an annuity.
I know, but the industry,
I'm not talking about the industry. I'm saying if you're
invented
out there,
all of, but the problem is they've all named them the same thing. So we have to get into the weeds on these because they've given them the same name.
But I'm saying
originally, an annuity was a means by which to replace an income stream, the immediate annuity.
But I see people buying annuities that already have plenty of income. And I say
because they're buying them because they're being sold an annuity as an investment vehicle.
That's the point. I'm trying to say, why would you do an annuity? Should be I save this much, I'm putting it in some vehicle, and it's giving me a check every month for this. That should be why you own one.
It's the power of these ridiculous sales pitches, and we have to. You and I every week have to fight against. Okay, go to the other talk radio stations this weekend.
Goodness sakes, please.
I challenge you and count the number of shows that are telling you should get into either a variable annuity, which, by the way, are fewer and fewer every day because the commissions are lower on variable annuities, or an indexed annuity or indexed universal life. Those are legion now. I know one station, and I'm not naming any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but there's one station that has 3 shows in the morning.
That's
almost back to back, all selling indexed annuities, all of which probably make the people selling them. Get this, folks. This should just appall you. They probably make between 8 and 10% for every dollar, off of every dollar you put into an indexed annuity. And yet, if you ask them, how much do you get paid? They'll tell you, you don't pay me.
The company does. And by the way, it might appall them.
Pants on fire.
It might appall them, or it might convince them to make a career change.
Exactly.
Which laughing, that's not really funny, but
it's not funny.
You asked about this too at the beginning. Why is this industry so opaque? The reason is because, honestly, they're embarrassed to say, by the way, if you put $100,000 in this product, I'm going to get a check for $10,000 next week. That's my takeaway. I think there's very few people that sit across the table and say, no problem, I'm making $10,000 on this transaction.
Well,
really?
Let me put this in a way that people can understand, because there are a couple of firms that I've looked at that claim to be investment advisor firms, fiduciary firms, but for some reason they don't have a lot of money under management.
Yeah, they don't manage very much.
It doesn't seem like they could afford the radio shows they're paying $4,000 for. If Vestory manages a little over $300 million. If we had put, as Tom says, it's very tempting. If we had taken and put all of our clients' money into indexed annuities,
we would be home resting right now. Somebody would be rubbing my feet.
Our commissions would have been between $25 and $30 million.
I don't think we haven't made that much yet. I don't think I'd have to check the books.
Are you kidding? We haven't made that much money in all the years we've been in business.
I know. Yeah, I know.
We could have made that in one fell swoop with every time we. That's why these firms don't have a lot of money that they manage for a fee. They're putting people in these indexed annuities because it's an immediate big win for them. And folks, and I'm going to sound bombastic again. They're flipping greedy.
And by the way, it's here's the other frustrating part. You can walk in their office and they'll say, "Yeah, of course I'm a fiduciary. You bet I am. Absolutely. Everything is in your best interest." Until it's not. So you get the message.
Liar, pants on.
Hey, every show
fire.
needs a little bombast. Aria was the understated. You're the overstated. It's in between there somewhere. It's okay. It's all right. So no,
I just get frustrated.
No, I know.
And honestly, Tom, you've known me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I get this upset for a very sound reason. It hurts me when I see what people do to people. I really hate it. I really, truly hate it. And I think that it's abhorrent, the number of people who put themselves above their clients, because it's the bulk of the industry.
Here's the other take. I think those people that sell those products, they're still going to believe, many of them till their dying day, that they are doing right for their clients. They have been so convinced, they've done it so long, and they think, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, because you can justify anything.
All right, we got time for another call. We got another caller if we can.
Yeah, we can get one more in.
Go on in. Tim, welcome to Talking Real Money. How can we help you?
Yeah, so I work at a company where the pension has been frozen, and what they're going to do at some point, I'm not sure if it's already happened or not, but they're going to be transferring the money in my pension over to an insurance company. And so I guess the question I've got, what can I do to prepare myself for it, if anything, and what can I expect on the outcome of that?
What they're doing is they're going out and buying they're letting you buy your own pension, in other words. And there's really not a lot you can do about it.
Are you still employed there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So I've earned my pension for so many years, and then they froze it.
Yeah.
And then
they're just going to give you the money.
I'm sorry, what?
You need to ask them if there are any other options in this transfer arrangement. My guess is they don't give you one.
Well, what were the other options, I guess?
Well, they offered me a lump sum, but I mean, I sort of ran the numbers myself, and it was much smaller than if I, live a certain number of years.
And the lump sum offer is now off the table?
Oh, yeah. So maybe I made a mistake by not taking it.
You probably, in hindsight, maybe you probably are going to end up with something very, very similar to what you would have if you retired today, because they're probably going to be able to buy some sort of a policy that has a comparable payout to what you were getting, or what you would have been getting from them, just with less danger to the firm.
The issue is, as you said, it's not going to grow. I mean, there's no way to keep up with inflation. That's the issue.
But the fact is, it's going to be the thing you can fall back on, rely on. You're okay there. while you're still working, fund the heck out of your Roth IRA or any other qualified options you have available to you, and let this be your backstop.
And did they up the amount that they're contributing to, like 401k, for example? Did they increase the match?
Yeah, they actually did. So I believe right now we were getting originally, I think it was 50% for the first 6%. And what they ended up doing was they matched 100% for the first.
Oh gosh, yeah. Dollar for dollar on a 6% contribution. Take that free money before you do the Roth.
I think I know what company we're talking about too. So good luck to you, Tim.
Too. Yeah, thank you so much. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Let me just take a second to share something new with you. We're going to start doing our lunch ed classes that we do at our offices in Phoenix and Portland and Seattle. We're going to start doing them online as a webinar at the same time. So you can attend too. You just won't get lunch. You'll have to go get lunch. But it's also cheaper. It's only $5 a ticket, and you get a full color worksheet and some special perks. So sign up for our upcoming lunch ed classes right now at talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com. It's under the events section, and you will get a real investing education on a variety of topics. So go to talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And we've got some big events coming up. We've got Tom. He's going to be teaching a class at Retirement Roundtable. So check that out at go to talkingrealmoney.com. Also, you can get the only magazine devoted to real life, honest to goodness investing, real investing. It's called Real Investing Journal. I created it because I couldn't find anything like it. The latest issue is at the printer. It comes out every quarter, and you can get it for just $15 a year. So go check that out right now. Go subscribe. It's up to 25, but you can get it for 15 on a charter subscription. So go to realinvestingjournal.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only.
Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times.
Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future.
So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring.
Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities.
Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures.
That's a wrap.